Good evening. I want to paint the picture for you as I step out of the way. When can we bring you a live report from the middle of the street? 6th and Jefferson, as far as the eye can see, though you see the protesters in the circle, there is nobody else downtown. And these are the people that are left from who were at the top of the bridge. Jeff, if you just turn with me, people were walking, hundreds of people marched up this bridge. That's where David is, and now these people have marched their way back down towards the foot of the bridge, and that's what you're looking at. If you want any reminder of how dangerous it can be, take a look at this, guys. This is a headlight from a car that crashed back in December into that stone wall. Here comes the Ohio River slowly creeping up into these homes and businesses on River Road, and it brings that question, right? Stay or go. Some parents that we talked to before they came to pick up their children had no idea what was going on. I walked up to the car and said, "Hey, are you guys okay?" And they asked me what I was talking about. You can hear me kind of crunching around. This is grass, or supposed to be grass. These bushes are more or less icicles. That said, look behind me. That's I-65, moving pretty good. On the ground here, the 150-pound hook of the crane still sitting on the ground, and that's the crane that took out that roof. This is like the script out of a movie. From mediocrity to superstardom to the subject of accusations. Then, as you mentioned, 3 days after apparent vindication, Medina Spirit dies. Reminders to socially distance, wear your mask out on the concourse, and when you step out onto the bowl, this stadium is going to look a whole lot different. This is what the scene looks like now on Broadway and Hodge, very similar to what it did when we were out here this morning. You see this black pile? This is just charred of the inside, the cloth inside to the pickup truck that hit that pole. You can see some things are still kind of recognizable. It looks like a flannel shirt, maybe a tool here, a zipper to a coat that was in the back seat. And if you look at the pole, that's where the pickup truck hit. Bent, the wood splintered. This morning, the scene still very dramatic for neighbors in this neighborhood. When Tremont Spencer looks outside his home, he sees evidence of the carnage. The charred seat of a car, bits of burnt clothes, left on the corner of Broadway and W.J. Hodge. Crashes he's gotten used to seeing.
Especially this corner right here. It's just, you know, just about every light change, if you stand here long enough, you'll see people running the lights.
But not many look like this. I mean, those are huge flames.
Yeah.
A mangled mess engulfed in flames. Spencer and his neighbors looking on.
I feel the heat all the way over here.
Firemen spraying down the wreckage, while officers treat an injured man on the grass.
The cop was trying to pull people out. I think there was somebody in the back seat and in the driver's seat. Yeah, it was a little intense.
When the smoke cleared, one person was dead, others hurt, hit by the suspect's car. Finding that out, too much for Quinella Black to bear.
Oh my God. Yeah, I see so many accidents. When I say so many accidents, I live on W.J. Hodge and Chestnut. Okay. It's horrible.
Horrible to see people die on the roads. LMPD says it started when officers tried to pull the car over and the driver hit the gas. An LMPD spokesperson says officers decided to disengage. Back at the scene, you can still smell what these neighbors saw the day before. The people who watched it all unfold, watched someone die so close to their homes.
I'm so torn to know that somebody lost their life last night. It's devastating. It is.
LMPD says after the wreck, the suspect took off down Broadway. He's still on the loose. In the latest LMPD podcast, Chief Erica Shields says that she hated police pursuits because of the liability that can come with them. An animal lover desperate to save a stray.
Say hi, Missy.
Steve Sykes found this dog in May off Whips Mill Road and wanted to reunite it with its owner.
It opened up a bag of worms I discovered.
Looking for Metro Animal Services, Sykes stumbled upon Jefferson County Animal Control and this automated prompt.
In the event you're not able to reach LMAS or they are closed, we provide 24-hour pickup of stray dogs and cats for a $99 fee.
He thought that was unusual and called us. We called Metro, who confirmed Jefferson County Animal Control is not a government agency. Then we dialed the number.
Thank you for calling Jefferson County Animal Control.
And got a hold of the owner, Bo Gast, who says his company is primarily a wildlife removal service and just started picking up strays because Metro doesn't do it 24/7.
We have no interest in doing it, but the governmental agency is failing to do it, so that's where private industry usually steps up.
After that, we had more questions and submitted open records requests to Metro and to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife. We found out Gast was a Metro Animal Services employee in 2015 and 16. In that time, as an animal control officer, his personnel file shows 1 written warning and 2 written reprimands. One accusing him of not cleaning the dog kennels properly, possibly contaminating their drinking water. In April 2016, fired, listed as do not rehire. The paperwork says he was unable to perform the essential duties of an animal control officer because of the Brady Law, a list that tracks police officers with credibility issues, something Gast denied.
There were many accusations made, and again, I refer that over to my attorney, and my attorney can fill you in on that.
We called his then attorney, who refused to comment, but he did give us a copy of a 2015 lawsuit Gast filed against Metro. The two sides ultimately settled in 2017. We also found out to handle nuisance wildlife in Kentucky, things like possums and raccoons, you need to have a nuisance wildlife control operator permit. Fish and Wildlife documents show Gast's permit has been expired since February 2017, meaning if he's personally handling or transporting nuisance wildlife, it's in violation. Gast told me on the phone he had a technician who had the right paperwork, but that man since left the company.
I have applied for that permit to reinstate that permit so that I can go out in the field and do that work.
But in the meantime, you have not been out picking up wildlife yourself?
I'm sorry?
I said in the meantime of having him dropped off the...
I'm going to refer that back to my attorney, too.
No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Simple gestures, some may overlook.
Things like that, like with the storm a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't get out with my car.
Not Tony Williams.
That car slid back down that hill. I got out and went in the house, and I was like, I'm not trying that no more.
Williams, the SNAP Ed assistant at the Hardin County Extension Center. Her job, help others get their diets on the right track.
To get them to make better food choices.
3 weeks ago, needing a little help herself in the middle of an ice storm.
I called and said, hey, I need a ride to work. And they were there.
To her rescue, Elizabethtown Police.
So I text Chris, and he was like, what time you got to be there? And he came and picked me up and dropped me off here at work.
Sometimes these gestures come during a matter of life and death. Just ask Angie Montez.
Violent and wanted to attack me, attack my husband.
5 years ago, Montez's father, fighting dementia.
He was just not in a good way, and I was fearful.
Lashed out in a moment of confusion at her front door at the right time, E-Town PD.
They spoke to my father, they calmed him down, they understood. One of them took me outside and said, hey, if this is what you're going to do, take care of your father, maybe you should get some help, and gave me a resource that really, until, my father passed away, was the best resource.
And there are more stories where they came from. Don't believe me? Just step inside the department.
Thank you for all that you do.
They're written down.
Dear police.
And taped to the walls.
You have fixed a lot of stuff that I would not even be here. Love, Morgan.
Gifts, cards, letters, thanking the men and women in blue for those acts of kindness over the years.
We're just overwhelmed. We're showered with love and support from the citizens of this community, and this is not something you would find, in my opinion, anywhere else.
So what is it about this department, about this city, that allows for a relationship like this? The answer starts on those same walls.
It's who we are. It defines who we are.
And it's carried out into the community. Hundreds of COVID-19 birthday parades.
Hello, they're here for you.
Giving children something to smile about on their special day.
A very happy birthday to you.
funeral processions with a police escort for every family grieving. And it's more than shedding a tear and sharing a laugh. The culture created here produces results. 4 years ago, EPD invested thousands in a computer simulation that helps train officers how to respond to almost every situation.
Let me see your hands.
A program that's cut officer-involved shootings to 1 in that time. They've spent thousands more on community engagement and marketing. The most recent set of FBI data shows E-Town had the 5th lowest violent crime rate in the country.
Well, it's immersion in this culture. Those before, the younger guys believe in it, and therefore the guys are trained that philosophy, and they too buy in, and they believe in it.
Believe in the culture and relationship between police and people.
E-Town is just such a unique place that you don't find everywhere.
A culture built by acts of kindness towards each other, no matter how small.
It's just
in E-Town,
different.
Nick Picht, Wave 3 News.